my name is Thong Pham, and I own Automotive Speed Performance, also known as ASP or ASP2. The reason for the 2 is mainly marketing. It's a second shop I opened. My first location was around the corner, a lot smaller, and we spawned to a 8,000 square foot shop from 2,500, which you considered ASP1. The field I'm doing now, I'm 25 years old. I started off when I was 13. Luckily for me, I had an older brother, and with our age gap, he's like 5 years older than me. He was always an older brother, and I was always a younger brother that fixed their cars, his friends' cars. So I got sucked into it at a young age. I'm still young, but when at the time I was 13, it was around 2002. It was all part of the movement, pgmfi.org. A lot of other guys that was also involved in it. Where they're at in the industry now, they're really big names actually. And I was part of a member on their forum, but they didn't know I was just a kid, But yeah, I got started at a young age, and I was just part of the movement, and just to see it grow to what it is now. And for me to finally open my own shop, I grasped the opportunity, started doing it myself. It's pretty much a trade secret, you know what I mean? People ask me all the time, oh, where'd you go to school? Where'd you learn this? You don't learn this stuff from reading a book, you know what I mean? You just go out and do it, but you gotta have that mentality. I opened the original ASP, owned my own business since 2009. Previously, I worked for a lot of other, mechanic shops that do mainly some general mechanic and performance. I was always into the performance side of it, of course. Honestly, mainly Honda and Acura. I get a lot of import guys that request me to, get into Nissans and Toyotas more. But realistically, there's other mechanics out there that do that kind of stuff. And I feel that if I stick to Honda Acura, I can perfect what I do and offer the Honda Acura world, something way better than anyone else could, versus doing everything. It originally been built from someone else. He purchased it almost the way it is, the setup mainly. It claimed to have made a certain amount of horsepower numbers until one day, he finally took it to me and said, hey, can we do some testing on it? And during the testing, it was honestly like 100 to 200 horsepower from what they claimed it made. So I perfected the engine tune on it and gained the power it was supposed to make. And from then on, he's been a good longtime friend and customer ever since. We live in California. We have 91 octane gas, which limits us a lot. If we ran the correct gas, it's capable of 700-800 horsepower. With 91 octane, you can only get away with so much because of the amount of heat it produces. So right now, I'm pump gas about 450 to 500, safely. Yeah, you know what? Arnold Schwarzenegger signed the bill for E85. E85 is 85% ethanol, 15% gasoline, and it burns very clean. It's a natural gas. We've been sticking that into our import cars lately, and with E85, you can get it with a lot. Unfortunately, the closest pump to us is in Modesto, but for example, if they had a pump here in Fresno, and we can stick that in the cars, he can safely drive, 500 to 600 horsepower every day. E85 burns about 30% more, runs about 30% cooler, which helps the motor make a lot more power and last longer. EFI 101, I got some, knowledge over there, some training, and originally pgmfi.org, and just hands-on experience. I'll give shout-outs to my good friend Derek Paris, very famous tuner. From Paris Engine Dynamics. He's helped me out a lot, gave me pointers. Brian from Tech 3 Industries, considered the king of NorCal as far as tuning. He's helped me out a lot. Frankie from G-Spot has helped me out a lot in the, just the business side of it. So I've had a lot of help along the way that, people can't claim to have. Just open a shop and do it yourself, It's all about helping each other out at the end to get where you're at today and grow, Just off my dyno alone, I've owned it for about 10 months. And if you were to load my files, I probably have 1,000 cars. In just vehicles, I have, dynoed and ran on here in the 1,000 range. And these are just cars that's been on the dyno. And we have, 3 lifts, 4 full-time employees, a full, display showroom. I can't even imagine to know how many cars I've worked on. There's been customers that have came and said I did an engine swap on their car, and I can hardly even remember, doing it. I mean, it feels good. The lifestyle isn't as lavish as people think it is. Owning your own business and doing what you love as a job. There's a lot of cons to it. But at the end of the day, if I sit down and think about it, it is a good feeling. It's crazy to think, the look of excitement on their face from even just a dyno team, not even just work we do. Them bringing in their car and me theoretically, physically not adding anything to their car. I'm not putting a big intake, big exhaust on it, big rims or nothing. Them leaving with the same exact thing but with my tune on it and realizing their car is 10 times faster. And not only that, more fuel economic because the car is running the way it should. Give us a visit and drive safely. There's a lot to learn about this industry. Please don't hop into your car and haul ass everywhere. Be precautious of everything you do. And I've been around a lot, seen a lot of customers, a lot of other experiences. Just be careful out there. At the end of the day, it's your decision who you decide to go with, what you do. But use it in your best judgment, where to go and what to do.